I have a dream, and it's for the AFL to be umpired consistently and fairly for each player and each team on the field. I'm hoping by the end of this video, Freo and Collingwood fans can feel a little bit of community, peace, harmony, and love. Okay, that's probably not going to happen, but maybe at least a little bit of mutual understanding. Who knows, you might end up playing each other in the final. So I'm going to show you an incident that happened in the second quarter of the Freo versus Melbourne game last night. But first, I'm going to go over the new high tackle interpretation. For those of you who are not aware, a new interpretation change has occurred and was in full force last week. And I'm also going to show an incident from last week that was a pretty hot topic. So the new interpretation is as follows. Where the tackle is reasonably applied and the ball carrier is responsible for the high contact, via a shrug, drop, arm lift or duck, play on shall be called. The situation in the incident that I'm going to show from the Melbourne Fremantle game more specifically focuses on the drop, which is a drop at the knees or body to gain head high tackle. The result of that is the umpire should be calling play on. And here's the tackle. It looks as though the tackler's first contact was made on the upper arm of Viney, even after Viney lowered his body. Then the arm slips high and looks to be due to Viney's body being lowered, as well as Viney's movement to get out of the tackle. The big question here for the umpire making the decision is that tackle reasonably applied? What do you think? Do you think the tackle was reasonably applied? Why or why not? The issue with this as well is this subjective and wishy-washy definition that the umpires have to deal with. What is a reasonably applied tackle? I think the AFL could help them by making that a little bit more clear for the umpires. And before a bunch of people see this and say, yes, but Viney doesn't play for free kicks and he wasn't playing for a free kick now, he was trying to evade the tackle. Nowhere in the laws of the game or in this high tackle interpretation should the umpire be looking at or looking for the intention of the player. It is just not a point of information that the umpire uses for their decision making. So, I'm not going to speculate and say that if this wasn't Ginnivan, this wouldn't be a free kick. I will, however, again show the Mason Redmond example from last week to have a look at both these examples side by side and see what you think. For consistency in those playing at home, the initial high contact on Jack Ginnivan was ticked off by the AFL. It was the headlock and the lingered high contact that the AFL said Ginnivan should have gotten a free kick for. I'm keen to hear what the AFL says about this high tackle free kick and whether they tick it off or whether they say, oh, that should have actually been play on. These mid-season knee-jerk interpretations and very likely not enough time for the umpires together as a group to fully understand the changes and understand all examples where it might happen makes consistency nearly impossible. So the umpires are not to blame. I'm not blaming the umpires, I'm blaming the AFL's management of this issue. What the AFL's doing will come good eventually, but there's just some teething problems at the moment. It's just disappointing to watch as a fan to see how inconsistent it is. It's leaving players, fans, and coaches a little bit confused. Why make the game harder to umpire when it's bloody difficult as it is? If you were in charge of the AFL, what rule would you change or simplify to make the game easier to umpire? If you like this content, hit subscribe, it helps me out. And if you want my thoughts on this issue and ducking, I made a video at the start of this year which should be up here. It's still relevant despite this issue becoming a little bit more intense this year. Thanks for watching.